Can't start an episode without coffee. What up, guys? It's Grimmy for here. Back with another episode. I'm having a wake and bake on my day off. But I thought I'd talk to you guys about something really important. With the rise of medical cannabis and the mild acceptance, we're still facing some sort of resistance from society. That they think that it's bullshit that we're using cannabis as medicine. Oh fuck, that smells so good. They don't believe it. They don't believe that we can replace all of our pills with cannabis. They think that we're claiming it's a miracle plant. It's not a miracle plant. It can do a fuck ton of amazing, incredible things. But in no way is it a miracle plant. It is a miracle that it can do so much, but it's not a miracle plant. And, you know, I think we should talk more as medical cannabis users. We should talk more about how cannabis helps us. And why we choose to use cannabis rather than pharmaceutical pills. Because we need to clear up this misinformation. We need to put more information out there, because this is the age of technology. Stigma will not last, because we have the power to fight back. We have the power to stand up for ourselves. So I want to talk to you guys about why I use cannabis. And as you can see in the title, it's called What Makes Me Tick. And I'm talking about my Tourettes. And I've referenced it minorly in my previous videos, and it's not a subject that I like to dwell on. It's something I'd rather try and forget because I'm dealing with it all the time. But I've got to put this information out there. And Tourette's itself is rather stigmatized, and it's rather misinformed. If you walk up to somebody on the street and you ask them about Tourette's, they'll usually say, oh, it's somebody that swears and makes obscenities and shouts and whatnot. Well, that's partially true. That is echolalia and coprolalia, which only affects 10% of those with Tourette's. It is in its most severe state, but that's not what Tourette's is. That's only the most severe cases. And I need to take my medication. So I'm lucky in the sense that I have a mild case of Tourette's, but I'm still afflicted with a lot of problems. Now, within Tourette's, it's a neurological problem that's still it's not really understood that much, but the most basic way I can explain it to any of you is I have leaky valves in my brain. And my brain doesn't work exactly the way that everybody else's brain does. I have problems. Like, my body will tell itself to move my neck, to roll my neck at least sometimes 20 to 40 to almost 100 times an hour. And that goes along with my ADD. It controls my ability to concentrate, and that affects my OCD, which makes me have these compulsions, these obsessive thoughts that I just can't get out of my brain, and I'll go more onto those. But my tics are, I'll have a neck rolling, I'll crack my neck, I have eye rolling, and that's why I wear glasses, because sometimes when I'm recording I'll still have a minor facial tic, and I want to cover that up because I don't like it being seen. Again, I blink my eyes. Sometimes I'll even move my ears. It's a weird thing. Jaw tension. I think I've cracked my jaw from stressing it too much like that. I roll my ankle. I roll my wrists. There's a cracking noise. Oh, if you can hear that. I don't think my wrist is supposed to make that noise. That kind of hurts. I should probably see a doctor about that. And I have a slight vocal tic, which is a throat clearing sound. I don't make any vocalized noises. I don't make any words. I don't shout obscenities. It's just the throat clearing tic. And of course, with my Tourette's, the problems wax and wane, meaning some days they'll be extremely, extremely bad. Some days they won't be as much. And this is why I can titrate myself with my cannabis. On those days that I'm having more severe pain, more severe tics, I can use more cannabis. And on the days that I'm not, I don't have to use that much, because I myself can control it. Because I know my tolerance. I know how to control my medication for myself. And within Tourette's, there's also the sister problems, is what I like to call it. It's associated problems with it that are caused by neurological problems, such as ADD, which is the next one I'm going to talk about. I have a very, very, very hard time focusing. It's hard to stick on an idea and just try and run with it and stick with it. And if I'm interrupted in any sort of way, I will get irrationally frustrated with the person. If it's repetitive, if it's repetitively interrupting me, I will get irrationally pissed off. And I don't like that. I've been through anger management courses, and I've thrown a desk through a window at one point. So it was kind of their fault, because they didn't really nail it down to the ground, which they should have. You know, I think that's their fault. Some days I will get sudden bursts of activity, and it's especially apparent for, like, if I'm trying to watch a movie. I've gone out to the movies many times, and every time, if I don't properly get baked enough before the movie, I'm sitting there and I can't sit in my seat. I'm just moving around, and a few occasions I've had to go to the bathroom, and I used my Da Vinci vaporizer in the bathroom at the movie theater, and I was properly medicated, and I could go back to the theater, and I could sit down, and I could relax, and I could enjoy the movie, and I could enjoy the movie with the person that I was with. And yeah, it goes on to OCD, which is these obsessive thoughts, these certain rituals that I have to do, or I'll become very anxious, very, very anxiety ridden. And one example that I just realized not too long ago is that ever since I've been 7 years old, I always carried chapstick in my pocket. And I even noticed this with when I do medicate, I don't have to use my chapstick as much. I'm not obsessively compulsing to put on my chapstick to constantly use it. And there's certain things that need to be done, or they really set me off. Like, one thing is, I don't like anybody reaching over, like, a glass that I'm drinking out of. Like, if this was on the counter and somebody's reaching over it, that would irrationally piss me off. I don't know. And with cannabis, I'm able to forget about these obsessive compulsive problems. I'm able to easier deal with them. And it's much better than taking a pill in the morning and, you know, you're supposed to take that pill every day, that registered milligram every day. But some days it's worse than others. So when I have to take more pills on one day than another day, that could fuck up my body. That could fuck up my tolerance for those pills, which is deadly for pharmaceuticals. And also, I deal with anxiety, social anxiety, which is really weird. I'm a social activist, but I have social anxiety. That's my way of trying to find my boundaries, of trying to find out where I can push myself to try and do stuff that I'm not normally used to. I fucking hate anxiety. Like, I'm supposed to be chilling with Skylar, the Baked Gamer, Cannabis Corey, 420 Dubstep, but I don't know, my social anxiety just takes me over, and it's hard to interact with people sometimes, and I fucking hate it. And this is the one problem with cannabis. It can sometimes open me up, but if I take too much, I'm in a large social environment, that becomes anxiety. I know from research and listening to other people that too much THC can cause anxiety in those prone to anxiety. That's one of the problems with cannabis that I am finding. There are some negative side effects, so we have to be aware of that, and that's why I'm talking about it. And insomnia, oh well, for fuck's sakes, when I smoke a nice bowl before bed, everything in my mind is wiped off, it's a clean slate, and all I'm thinking about is sleeping. And it's just incredible. And sleep, not only is sleep important for, you know, everybody in general society, but it's more important for those with neurological and mental illnesses, because that's where our leaky breaks are happening. That's where our problems are happening. That's where we need the most healing. And that's where sleep really helps us out. I think it's time for another bong rip. Excuse the dirty bong. And of course, the very last problem I deal with, but not the very least, is chronic depression. And a little bit of a bad cough. Which is just the culmination of everything. I don't have to go into detail on depression. You should all know about it. It's simple. But the pharmaceuticals that I was on when I was younger, they just totally fucking destroyed my mind. The antidepressants, they increased my suicidal thoughts and my suicidal tendencies. They gave me night terrors. They made everything worse. The Ritalin that I was taking for my ADD, it made me wired for sound, and it was addictive. It gave you a high. And I think I was about 14 to 15 or 13 even when I was the youngest when I was given Ritalin. And it gives you a high. These pharmaceutical companies are giving out pills to kids And these pills are getting them high. Yet they worry about CBD cannabis extracts, which don't get you high, which give you all the medicinal purposes, all the medicinal benefits. You're worried about kids doing drugs, but you're giving to them. The pharmaceutical company is giving them out, just willy-nilly, just giving them out. And we in the cannabis community receive criticism because some kids do use cannabis. And there's a lot of teens that are watching this right now that smoke weed. That's cool. It's complicated on the research of what's the outcome of kids using high potency cannabis now. There's limited data on that, but kids are gonna smoke it anyways. And you know what? I'd rather kids smoking weed than doing pills or fucking drinking alcohol. I would definitely rather have kids smoking weed. And I've told many people on my channel, like I believe there was a 13-year-old that was talking to me. He said he wanted to smoke cannabis, and I told him, "Whoa, no, just don't worry. Just wait until you're 18. Wait until you're out of the house where your mom's not gonna kick you out. Just be responsible with it." And that's another thing. We really got to be responsible with cannabis. I don't know where that rant went off. The sleeping pills, wow, they turned me into a zombie. I was on Seroquel. They started me on like 50 milligrams, and I went all the way up to 500 milligrams. There was an easy tolerance, and by the time I was at 500 milligrams, holy shit, I was just a brain zombie. When I was taking them, I was in school, and I would get there, and I would be in class, and it would be worse than being stoned. It felt worse than being stoned. It was a level of drowsiness which was incredibly uncomfortable, and you just couldn't wake up from it. If you took it at 8:30 on Thursday, for Friday morning, you would still be drowsy and still be in a state of zombiness by like 5 o'clock on Friday. That's how terrible the medication was. And of course, these pharmaceutical companies and the doctors aren't going to listen to the patients that are having these severe problems, because they want to keep pushing out these pills. They just want to keep doing it. And they're afraid that cannabis can replace a lot of pills. And I'm not saying cannabis alone can help everything. I need to stress that with mental illnesses, there should be cannabis and mental therapy. Because everybody, when you're in a state of mental illness, you really need somebody to talk to. And especially somebody with professional background that can help you make the right choices and figure out what's going on in your brain and make the best decisions for you and with you. But there's a little problem with that. There's a lot of people you can't trust, and that's especially with somebody with a mental illness. It's very hard to go to a doctor and a random stranger and be like, "Hey, what's up? These are all my fucking problems. You think you can help me out with them?" It's really hard to fucking do. And especially with the amount of psychiatrists that are paid off by pharmaceutical companies. And when you tell them that you'd rather use cannabis, they're like, "Well, I think you have a drug abuse problem. So we can't talk until you get some help for your drug abuse, or until you accept these pills." And that's fucking crazy. That's crazy. It's my choice to use cannabis. And yes, I know I have to properly titrate my dose to get the proper effective medicine. And there are some problems. But you know what? I'd rather have a little bit of anxiety over the fact that I might have suicidal tendencies and I might not even be able to function in society when I'm on the pharmaceuticals that it will replace. It's fucking crazy. So, I thought I'd take this time to just talk about why I use cannabis, how it helps, and please, if it helps you in any way, post a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you, because I love hearing stories of other people that use cannabis for medicinal purpose. It's amazing. We got to get these stories out there so more people can hear us, so more people can understand that we are here and we're using cannabis. And despite the government propaganda, it's actually a medicine. So fuck you. I just fucking hate the stigma attached to it, because everywhere I go, if somebody notices I have Tourette's and something comes up about my medication, I say I use cannabis, and they laugh about it. They laugh in my face. Oh yeah, you use cannabis for medicinal use. And it's like bullshit. It's like, fuck you. You're a fucking dick. So then, all in this long rant, like I said, if you have a personal cannabis story, post it down below. I'd love to hear it. Have a great day, guys. Stay medicated and stay educated. Peace.